Sorry for that freak out. But anywho, Tropical Jungle is easily one of my least favorite of Silver's levels to play in the game. The design of this place is all over the map. You can go in this direction, and you can swing on this log and reach the higher pathways, and there are turtles to ride on, and fruits to knock down to summon them, and blah blah blah. There's a lot going on here. This place has some of the most brutal slowdown in the game as well. I don't get this level. Why does it insist on misleading and confusing the players? Now, I don't play this game that often, on account of the fact that I hate it, and I surely wouldn't go back to this level even if I did, as it's one of the weakest ones. But upon recording this review, I immediately came up to the first checkpoint, which leads to a laser gate. But I had no idea how to bring down that laser gate. I killed every robot in my area, and I didn't know if there was a hidden switch or something, so I did some backtracking and took a higher route instead to bypass it completely. It's so easy to find checkpoints here and go in the opposite direction they intended you to, and this level is like a maze. A boring one where you spend a lot of it riding on giant turtles. So wait, normal dogs, anthro-purple cats, giant realistic turtles. Real world! Hello! Again, this isn't new, but I thought, fuck it. In the Shadow story, you actually play through Silver's Tropical Jungle as Rouge, but because she can climb walls, the level is far more enjoyable. It's not a maze when you can climb to the highest point and skip all the backtracking and confusion. She'll still get stuck on walls, but at least I'm not playing Silver. This level really sucked for him. I think Tropical Jungle is Silver's worst level. And it's his second level in the game. Jeez. Kingdom Valley. I've already discussed my displeasure about the fact that you have to undergo 3 side missions in order to reach this place. Not just with Sonic, but with Silver as well. 12 loading screens at most, and if you forgot to save by pushing pause and hitting the save button, something you really never have to do ever since all the levels you finished saved the game for you, that's an hour of gameplay you have to replay. That's lame. Kingdom Valley is probably by far the biggest level in the game, and I hate when Sonic levels drag out for an eternity. Believe it or not, I actually tried to S-rank every level in this game. Or I was going to anyway, but levels like Kingdom Valley are an example of why I never could go for that pointless Xbox achievement to show how much of a sad bastard I am. When you screw up once in a giant 10-minute long level, S-rank gone. All those robots you killed, all those loading screens you had to sit through, all that tedious gameplay you underwent, it was all for nothing because a goddamn tower crushed your hovercraft, and now your points are at 0 and you'll never make the S-rank now. I could never have the patience to try and S-rank a game this lengthy and drawn out when the stupidest things in the world can kill you. It's not worth it. But yeah, Kingdom Valley is super long. It has a Mach speed section, and I got my worst game over of all time on this one because it involves wall running, and it's a little tricky to judge what's a wall and what's a rock you're going to bounce off of and fall to your doom. Rouge the Bat can't jump off of walls, and she has to find keys. She doesn't get a radar like the Sonic Adventure games, so you're blindly looking for them. Now, the good news is they'll always be in the same 3 places every time you play the game, so if you know where to go, no big deal. And 2 of the keys are obvious because one's behind a laser gate and one's inside a blue box. That 3rd key will definitely test how long people will be spending bumbling around though. It's inside a tower. A tower with a door that is closed and will not open from the outside. Hell, maybe this is your first time playing any Kingdom Valley level since you never finished Sonic or Silver's campaign. How the fuck are you supposed to know that there's anything in that tower and it's not a structure for Rouge to climb on? How are you supposed to know you can bomb out the windows and get inside that way? A lot of players like me aren't going to draw the conclusion that, maybe I should bomb the stained glass windows to get inside. I remember spending an eternity looking for that last key. The level design and planning in this game really sucks. After finally finding all those keys, we come to Shadow's first hovercraft section. And this part is absolutely stupid. You're driving around this body of water, dodging boxes and shooting robots in your way. But this level has tons of towers. Really incompetently made towers that literally fall over if even the slightest of gunfire touches the base of these towers. The camera is only looking where you're looking. I'm pretty damn sure these towers fall over regardless if you shoot them or not. And if you can't see it falling, it will land on you and kill you instantly. So in order to not die, I have to play the game in the most awkward way possible. Constantly driving slowly, pushing the right analog stick all the way up, and holding it there just to see if any structure might be falling my way. If I don't do this, I will get killed. No doubt. So thanks for giving me the hovercraft, Sonic Team. It's real fun to play in a level that surprises you with airborne death and kills all the fun that could have been there. And like Silver's Tropical Jungle, this is Shadow's second level! His second! Have you heard of scaling the difficulty? Kingdom Valley is easily one of the hardest levels in the game when compared to everything else. You put Shadow through a giant 9-minute long experience where things can instantly kill you like it ain't no thing, and he just started the damn game! His next levels are nowhere near as hard or as tedious as this. Planning! No crumbling towers! We didn't need that as an obstacle for his second level! God! Anywho, my big problem with Kingdom Valley, aside from all of that, is length. And this level loves light speed dashes. Loves them. Also, I really don't get why in Sonic's story you play as Silver, and in Silver's you play as Sonic. It's so repetitive and nonsensical to me. I didn't play as Amy Rose in Sonic's story back in Sonic Adventure. Keep your characters to their stories. Aquatic Base. Level does have convenient switches which kill everything around them when you whack them to speed things up a bit, and I like that. But no, this level sucks too. Again, too long, too many rooms filled with waves of enemies that aren't fun to beat up on. Wait, why are Shadow's gun motorcycles here? This takes place 10 years ago, right? Why would motorcycles be in a secret Soliana laboratory trying to play God and control time? Whatever. One thing I should mention is that at some point you actually have to hop onto a giant silver metallic ball and use it to get across a bottomless pit. A bottomless pit with lasers that turn on and off. It's a timing thing where you're supposed to walk on the ball at the right times. It has a slippery momentum too. You don't immediately stop when you're moving the control stick, so you really gotta make sure you stop at the right time. Take it slow, basically. I think the lasers could be bigger, or at least also higher than your character, but I don't really hate this part too much. I know a lot of people who do, but I don't really find this that offensive. Take it slow, keep an eye out, but yeah, it's a bad part that a lot of people hate. And I'm done! Done with all the levels. They suck. Even if the character's controlled well, none of these levels make me want to replay them. Sonic's been around for 15 years at this point, and I'll agree that coming up with original ideas is kinda tricky, but still, none of these levels feel that special. I don't want to play something that gets interrupted by load times, that makes me fight waves of enemies like it's a beat-em-up game or something, that shoves characters I don't want to play in my face saying, "No! Appreciate all these terrible side characters! You have to play them! Even if you only like Sonic, you have to play as Tails!" Let's not forget the terrible gimmicks, too. But wait, Clement! You're forgetting another important aspect about this game! The boss fights! Every game needs a villain, and every level should pay off with a glorious boss fight. Well, you're right. There are a ton of bosses in the game, and they all suck too. First off is Hey, what the hell are you doing? Do what you always do. Do what you're always doing when you're interrupting my playthroughs, and just fucking say the name.
No, I will absolutely not do that! That faker who made those lame robots is not me! I am the real Dr. Eggman! That guy's a faker!
I respect that, talking doll. I respect that a great deal. This guy is not Dr. Eggman, so we won't be doing our usual bit. I'm so fucking drunk. Well, this is the Egg Cerberus. Yeah, nice one head there, robot. Didn't anyone tell Sonic Team that generally a Cerberus was a 3-headed dog? Bah, whatever. This boss is the first in the game. You only have Sonic's storyline available at the start, and you have to unlock Shadow and Silver by meeting them in the story. It's not a hard boss fight, but it's certainly not that fun. The idea is you have to grind on the dog's tail in order to reach his horn, and in its attempts to shake Sonic off, it will run into walls and get destroyed. When you get on the horn, you actually manipulate where the dog robot runs, and you're encouraged to run into the statues because that will actually do double damage.
The Egg Cerberus!
Anywho, one of the biggest problems that will plague almost every boss fight is the camera. In previous Sonic games, you generally always had the boss in sight because the camera focused on them. You were never wondering where they were, and you weren't spending a good chunk of the gameplay moving the right analog stick. the camera does not focus on the egg Cerberus, so you have to move it in order to see him. When you actually grind on the tail eventually runs out, and you're expected to land on his neck rail in order to reach the horn. If the camera isn't working for you, you'll fall through his neck completely, take a hit, and waste that jump. Why couldn't his tail just go all the way to the horn? BioLizard's neck tube went to his core. I didn't get interrupted to jump onto another neck tube. Oh, and you have to fight the egg Cerberus twice. When you're fighting it with Shadow, it's at Eggman's ice base, and now the statues, which could have made the fight faster, are completely gone. And for some reason, I have a much bigger problem trying to grind up his tail because Shadow keeps stopping short of it. I don't know what it is, if it's because of his combat homing attack thing, and they wanted Shadow to be a fair distance away from the enemies he was whacking, but this fight is just really more tedious with Shadow. Also, another thing I feel worth mentioning is that I don't know what the hell the egg Cerberus is chasing, but he clearly couldn't give a shit about the hedgehog he was ordered to kill. Hello? I'm over here! Silver the Hedgehog. Like previous 3D games, you get into character battles, where you'll battle Silver as Sonic, then you play as Silver and you'll battle Sonic. Just like how if you were Sonic you fought Knuckles, and if you're Knuckles you'll fight Sonic. You know what this game should have been called. So how is that psychic hedgehog to battle in a boss fight? Oh shit, he grabbed me. I couldn't reach the rings. Oh god, I'm already dead? Oh no, he grabbed me again. Well, this time I actually have rings, so... Wait, what the fuck? I didn't have time to escape. He just grabs you right away? Where's the invulnerability? It was on, wasn't it? Well, this time I got him, and shit, he grabbed me again.
Take this! It's no use!
Oh, fuck you, game! So Sonic falls like a feather, and I have to get away from Silver in time, or he'll grab me. This game has taught me time and time again that if I want distance, I need to air dash to reach places. So if I accidentally do a second homing attack on this guy, he grabs you, flings you to the sky, and then immediately catches and kills you. What great fucking design! This is the second boss fight! God, what were they thinking? You know, it's actually possible to get stuck. Like, he'll keep throwing you into the wall, and you run into your ring, and it's an endless loop until you pause and restart the fight. Hell, the funniest thing I discovered on the internet is that it's possible to glitch past the invisible wall and have Silver send you into outer space. It damn feels like outer space, because everything gets black beyond the sky. A lot of people think this makes Sonic 06 so bad it's funny. And I guess... but I really can't forget Ball Puzzle, or Knuckles' inability to get off a wall, or anything else I'm going to be talking about next. This isn't humor, this isn't that funny, it's just misery the whole way through. But again, Silver fight, you have to hit him when he picks up tables because that's the only time he's open to attack. And you have to listen for it because the camera sure as hell isn't going to lock onto him. And you know what I really hate? When you're running away from him while the camera is facing him, it decides to go high in the sky and aim at Sonic on the ground. That's not what I wanted! I need to see the fucking Psycho Silver coming towards me! Ugh, this boss fight is just a train wreck. People assume that knowing what to do makes it okay. Oh, well, when you know what to do, it's a simple fight, and there's really no problem with it. No, it doesn't! Just because I can beat Silver now and never get caught at a wall with him doesn't mean it isn't badly designed. The lack of breathing room when you have invulnerability is brutal. Shadow also has to fight Silver, and it's pretty much the same deal, except the area Shadow fights Silver in is much bigger, and you should never homing attack Silver. Why? Shadow's slower than Sonic, and he falls down slower than Sonic. Even if you don't homing attack him a second time, you still get caught by the asshole! What the hell?!
It's no use! 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 It's no use!
It's no use! It's no use! It's no use! It's no use!
So only slide into him. On the flip side, when playing as Silver, you're fighting Sonic and Shadow, and they like to build up a homing attack and then fly at you. What do? You pick up objects and hit them with them. That's it. In fact, let this be forewarning for all of Silver's boss fights. He can't stun bosses, or attack them in any other way, so it always amounts to waiting for the boss to give you something you need to attack them with, and throwing it at their face. Sonic and Shadow are different because you're scrounging for items to throw at them. But Silver has the same boss fight every time. And Silver's a bastard to Sonic.
What? No!
And now,
The Egg Genesis!
with Sonic, it's pretty basic. You homing attack the robots on the side of his wings, climb the top, and homing attack to win. Relatively harmless boss fight where the camera actually focuses on the boss. Hallelujah! You can also attack the Egg Genesis at the bottom by getting extra height with the bounce bracelet and homing attacking it there. Doesn't do more damage, but I'm convinced it wasn't originally supposed to be a hitbox for Sonic. Not only does he fly through the robot after hitting it, we later discover Silver fights the Egg Genesis as well. And where does he throw his objects? At the bottom. Though now I have to go back on my hallelujah camera statement, because now you can't see what the hell you're doing with Silver. So even when the camera focuses on the boss, it still sucks. Great! It's so much slower and more tedious to fight with Silver, as you run slow, enemies spawn in and attack you constantly, and the objects you throw don't shave the health bar down fast enough. Fighting the Egg Genesis with Silver is a real chore, not a good boss fight. It's alright with Sonic, but again, an orange box? Really? I hate Eggman's robot designs in this game. It just feels so bland and lame to me to fight an orange box with wings. Then again, if this is a physical representation of Sonic Genesis, then good. Kick the shit out of that robot, Sonic. Fucking stupid game.
Sonic, look out! The fortress is crashing!
Iblis. Well, this is the big fire elemental god of destruction, the force that is ruining Silver's future and is pretty important to the plot. And apparently any small hedgehog can just kick his ass. Or not, because he's immortal, but whatever. Iblis 1 and Iblis 3 are basically the exact same fight. Silver's first and final boss, by the way. You pick up objects, you throw it at his face. If he's in the middle of damage animations, then you can't hit him again, otherwise no damage will be taken. So that'd be my pro tip. Wait for him to resume business as usual before you start attacking him. I mean, there's nothing really special to say about Iblis. He's so incredibly slow that all of his moves can be seen coming. Oh no! He's picking up a building! Really slowly! I sure hope I get away! Really slowly! Oh good, I dodged the building. In the final boss fight, he can actually destroy the ground you're on to kill you in one hit, but if you keep spamming rocks at his face, that's not a big deal. The final Iblis fight is also kinda crazy because he can throw the world's biggest fireball at you, and Silver catches it like it ain't no thing. And yet he couldn't levitate a ball through a goddamn pyramid puzzle? Ugh. It's a bland fight. He's big, he roars and screams at you, and there's nothing to this guy. Throw boxes at his face. The end. Iblis Phase 2 is a different, far more annoying story. You have to fight this guy twice, by the way. Once as Sonic, the next as Shadow. Tactics don't change, the arena doesn't change, and considering this is my least favorite boss in the game, I absolutely despise the fact that you have to fight it twice. Camera? It's worse than not just locking onto him. It will occasionally lock onto him for a split second, and then you go back to free manual aiming camera again. You're on platforms suspended above a giant pool of lava, constantly jumping because you can't only run, otherwise you'll fall into the lava. Also keeping in mind that Iblis will actually hawk some fire loogies at you, and you have to dodge them. So you have to look at him to know he's shooting at you. Do you realize how terrible it is that when you're trying to grab rings and jump around this area, the camera completely betrays you and changes your perspective for 3 measly seconds that didn't fucking matter? Why did I need to see Iblis doing his stupid little dance? Ugh, this game! You're expected to hit the purple rock so that Iblis gets drawn to it and bites it, I guess. Then you homing attack his eye, and Sonic flies super high into the sky for a good 8 seconds, it feels like. This boss fight drags. You're always waiting for platforms to drop from the roof. You're always waiting for Iblis to bite the rock. It's so damn slow and plodding, and the fight always takes up to a good 6 minutes or so. I hate it! There's nothing fun about it! God, I hated Iblis Phase 2! It's so dumb, I hate this fucking game! Mephiles. There are 2 fights with Mephiles, and both involve building up chaos energy so Shadow can enter Kaioken mode and Mephiles will appear. Not sure why, but that's how it works. The first fight has you beating up little tiny Mephileses who all try to dive on top of you, and the second is beating really giant Mephiles demon things. Either way, both fights amount to building up Kaioken mode and homing attacking the hell out of Mephiles. They're basic boss fights. I think they go a little too long, but again, there's nothing to talk about. Well, you play as Omega during the first boss fight, but like I said before, jump and mash the X button and you win. And why the hell are they just walking around with your character in the second boss fight and not doing anything? Bah, whatever. And finally, we come to the last boss I have to talk about until the final part anyway. It's
The Egg Wyvern!
It's a cross between the Egg Cerberus, where once again, you're guiding the robot by grabbing onto its horn. It's far more annoying here because you're guiding him to falling debris, things that won't be there forever. So if you don't reach the debris in time, it will fall and eventually Eggman will shake you off. Sometimes it's not really a problem, but when I was recording footage for this review, I had a bad case of never hitting the damn thing. It made the boss fight really lame to play. But anywho, again, it's a cross between the Egg Cerberus and the Egg Viper from Sonic Adventure. Why? Well, it destroys platforms on you. He will occasionally pop out of his cockpit, daring you to hit him, and at the end he has a desperation attack where he tries to kill you one last time.
Watch out! He's up to something! Sonic, watch out! He's still trying something!
My only real issue with this fight is once again the camera, since it constantly goes from aiming to manual aiming, and the lasers he shoots at you are impossible to dodge because you never know where they're coming from. Otherwise, standard boss fight. But this does bring up one thing I've been teasing since part 1. You want to know what this game should have been called? Sonic Adventure 3. Yeah, I said it. And people find that blasphemous, even though it's clearly the most appropriate name this game could have possibly had. There are different storylines where characters interact in the same levels. In fact, they battle each other. Sonic will fight Silver, Silver will fight Sonic, Sonic will fight Knuckles, Knuckles will fight Sonic, you know. You play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Shadow, Rouge, a purple cat, and a robot. Dr. Eggman's plan involves unleashing an elemental monster he discovered through ancient tablets to destroy the world.
Oh, yes! It's just as the stone tablets predicted.
The princess is mine. Until I unlock the secret of the flames of disaster.
This elemental monster has green eyes and totally devastates a city. Chaos makes Station Square a water world. Iblis makes Soliana a fire world. Our heroes encounter a black hedgehog who is trying to destroy the world. Sonic snowboards in Ice Cap. He snowboards in White Acropolis. Sonic gets chased by a whale in Emerald Coast. Sonic gets chased by a whale in Wave Ocean. The egg carrier appears in both Sonic Adventure and Sonic 06. There's even a shot where Amy Rose sees the egg carrier fly overhead in both games. You go into a hub world where you communicate with the people of the town to get a little more insight into what's going on. Just like Station Square, and this time it's Soliana.
See if you can make it through here.
So yeah, I don't even need to mention the gameplay mechanics being pretty similar too. This was a Sonic Adventure game. It borrows so heavily from Sonic Adventure, in fact, that I'm surprised people didn't make the connection. I would have rather they called this Sonic Adventure 3, because while some of you might think that the Adventure series was perfect and besmirching its name isn't cool, you all forget this game is called Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog! Sonic the Hedgehog! Sonic the fucking Hedgehog! I find that name far more offensive. But good news, guys. Aside from the last story, I've covered all the gameplay problems I could think of. The levels suck, the bosses suck, the characters control like shit, and they suck too. This is an unplayable mess. I could end the review right here, but there are some non-gameplay stuff I gotta talk about too. As for any extra stuff I could be missing, well, there's a bajillion silver medals lying around in the actual levels. 10 in each level. 10! Not a simple easy number like 3 or 5. 10! In each level! So what do you get for collecting every medal in the game? Nothing. Nothing at all. Not even kidding. Well, on the Xbox you get an achievement that shows people how sad your life has become, but I think most of us didn't bother getting it. So thanks, Sonic Team. Thanks for mapping out a bajillion silver medals for no reason whatsoever. The achievements are like the worst English you've ever seen, too. Like the Blue Phantom achievement. It requires you to buy all of Sonic's abilities in the shop. What's the description for it? Super Sonic, obtain the all moves. Wow, they couldn't get one guy to proofread that? Really? Have we really regressed to mid-1990s Mega Man games on the NES? Or 2001, because Mega Man X6 also had some pretty terrible fucking writing. Jesus Christ, these games, they all suck! This game has no unlockables. No new playable levels or characters, no unlockable Game Gear games, nothing. Even when you A-ranked Shadow the Hedgehog, you got an expert mode. Oh shit! Harder difficulties! I forgot! They bothered to make hard versions of every level in the game. Why? I don't know! Who was asking for a slightly harder version of the levels we were playing? Again, that's more development time that could have been spent on things worthwhile, and you bothered mapping out harder versions of levels you already made for each character and for the multiplayer! Planning? What's that?!
So that's what's wrong with the gameplay. But coming up in part 6, I'm going to explain what's wrong with the story. I know a lot of people wanted me to get to that subject, but I'm going to tell you why even just watching this game annoys the hell out of me.
It sounds like being a princess isn't that easy.
Ah! Why won't it stop? Why won't it end? Oh, God.